According to one payment report, the governor and other politicians received millions of dollars worth of donations and gifts from giant tech and health companies.
The California Fair Political Practices Commission released its annual payment transparency report on January 13th, listing all the solicited payments California officials received. State elected officials behested more than $237 million in 2020, with Governor Gavin Newsom receiving the vast majority of it. Newsom solicited a total of nearly $227 million in donations in 2020 from Facebook, Google, Blue Shield, and others. That's a tenfold increase from 2019 when he behested about $12 million. This huge increase in both the use and amount of behests is why we are implementing new regulations to increase transparency, said FPPC Chair Richard Miedich. Behested payments are contributions to elected officials that are to be given to other organizations. These payments are less regulated than campaign contributions and are not limited in size. The transactions must be reported under the Political Reform Act. The FPPC report says the funds were used to support California's COVID-19 response and awareness campaign, purchasing gift cards for healthcare workers, Project Home Key for the homeless, among others. 2020's top behesting officials also include Secretary of State Shirley Weber, Assemblymember Cristina Garcia, Superintendent Tony Thurmond, and Assemblymember Anthony Rendon.
A billionaire and partial owner of one of the NBA's top teams is facing backlash over his comments on human rights issue in China. He said that nobody cares about the Chinese Communist Party's suppression of Uyghurs.
In a January 15th podcast with the All In podcast, one of the co-hosts and CEO of Social Capital said that nobody cares about the Uyghurs in concentration camps in China's western Xinjiang region.
Nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care.
Polly Hapatia was responding to another co-host who brought up Washington's recent ban on all products imported from Xinjiang's forced labor camps. He adds that the issue is below his line and there are more domestic issues to focus on.
Not until we can take care of ourselves will I prioritize them over us.
Polly Hapatia owns 10% of the Golden State Warriors. The team's management responded saying that Polly Hapatia is a limited investor and his views do not reflect those of the organization. The podcast co-host countered by saying that human rights is a global concept and its open discussion is allowed in the US, but not in certain other countries. A number of critics respond, including Enes Kanter Freedom, one of the few NBA players to be vocal on China's human rights. He calls it a shame. Freedom previously talked on BBC about encouraging his colleagues about choosing morals over money.
So it is important that athletes use a platform to be the voice of all those innocent people out there who don't have a voice.
Florida Senator Rick Scott said Communist China is imprisoning innocent people simply due to their Muslim faith, and silence is appeasement. He asked several Warriors players to condemn it. The United States and other Western nations have characterized Beijing's repressive policy in Xinjiang as a genocide. Polly Hapatia also said that after reviewing the podcast, he realized he came across as lacking empathy. He said his family previously fled a country with its own human rights issues. David Lam, NTD News, California.
The Department of Education reached a settlement in regards to a lawsuit involving Aztec prayers. These prayers were taught and being recited by students in the state's ethnic studies model curriculum and caught attention of parents and reporters last year. NTD's Jason Blair has the update.
After reaching a settlement last week, California has agreed that it will no longer include 2 Aztec chants in its ethnic studies model curriculum. The California Department of Education was sued by 3 San Diego parents and the Californians for Equal Rights Foundation. They argued that including recitation of the chants in the curriculum was unconstitutional. Paul Jonah, partner at Limondri and Jonah LLP and Thomas Moore Society Special Counsel, stated that the chants are directing students to pray to Aztec gods. Jonah added that these are the same deities that were worshipped with human sacrifices. The Department of Education's lesson resources say the chants can be used as energizers to bring the class together and to lift students' spirits. As part of the settlement, the CDE is required not to encourage the use of the deleted affirmations in California's public schools, as well as pay $100,000 towards the plaintiff's legal fees. The CDE did not respond for comment before the broadcast deadline. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
The Biden administration plans to expand efforts to combat wildfires that have torched the West Coast. The administration calls for cutting and thinning down forests around hotspots.
Administration officials said they crafted a $50 billion plan to increase the use of controlled fires and logging. This would reduce trees and vegetation that serve as tinder. The work is to begin this year in areas that have been blazed, such as California's Sierra Nevada mountains, the east side of Colorado's Rocky Mountains, and portions of Arizona, Oregon, and Washington state. The plan is envisioned to cover almost 80,000 square miles, almost as large as Idaho. Reaching that goal would require an estimated $20 billion over 10 years for work on national forests and $30 billion for work on other lands. The recently passed federal infrastructure bill put a down payment of $3.2 billion over 5 years into the plan.
Yosemite National Park is planning to test a lottery system for reservations in one of its popular campgrounds. The park announced it's piloting a lottery system for North Pines campground reservations. Their goal is to reduce confusion for the highly competitive reservation process and create a better experience. Available dates for reservation are from July 21st through September 14th this year. To apply, visitors will pay a non-refundable $10 lottery fee to join the drawing. If a visitor is selected, he or she will then have to pay a $36 reservation fee per night. The lottery application period is January 18th through February 6th. Results will be announced on February 10th.